नमस्कार, मैं रोहित, आप देख रहे हैं संसद वानी न्यूज़।
For sure, you will benefit in the long run when you get a metro system here and when you get electric buses in Mumbai. But you will also in Mumbai benefit from more parks and urban forests. And that's why I'm so happy to be with Bhamla Foundation today to launch this campaign. There's an enormous improvement in people's lives if they get closer to parks and green areas. In the United States of America, all polls, there's any number of research showing that those cities going green, they attract the best people. That's where people want to live. I'm also very happy to be with you, Tiger. I don't know you very well, I have to admit. But I believe that environmentalists very often fail from one reason. The message is only speaking to the brain, not to the heart and the guts of people. And sometimes it's incredibly boring. Any number of PowerPoint presentations which are done with the best of intentions, but don't really touch people. People like you can reach out and touch people in a completely different way. And that's why you are so valuable that you have joined this campaign. So I'd like to give you a vote of thanks for that. Where there is huge environment progress in India. As Asif Bhamla said, I worked with Prime Minister Modi 3 years back on fighting plastic pollution in India, which is horrendous, as everywhere else in the world. Prime Minister Modi promised that he would put a ban to all those plastic items which are not needed in India. I mean, can't you drink without a straw? Can't you have a meal with normal cutlery? Do you really need plastic cutlery? We all know the answer to these questions. And now Prime Minister Modi has lived up to his promise. It's a very good quality of a politician. You promise something and you keep it. And all these single-use plastic items will be prohibited in India. Bravo for Prime Minister Modi and all the other leaders who have achieved this. There's many other areas of progress. I can mention green hydrogen, where again the Prime Minister just launched a huge scheme with some of the giants of Indian business, some of the tycoons here, Mr. Ambani, Mr. Adani and others, putting huge amount of money on the table while the Prime Minister is driving it politically. And 1 week back, I was with Aditya Thakirai, so many of you know, the Minister of Environment of the great state of Maharashtra. What did he do? Launching the electric buses scheme for Mumbai. Again, great news for the people of Mumbai, but also great news for the world. Very soon Mumbai will be run by electric buses and electric buses only. Then how do we green the planet? Because that's what this scheme is all about. I think there are 3 things we need to do. Number 1, let's protect what is already there. Let's protect all those rainforests and forests which are already there. We cannot cut down something and then build up the same somewhere else. And here there is some very good news. Indonesia, second biggest rainforest nation in the world, now has brought deforestation to 0. Why? Good policies of the government of Indonesia, responsible business of the business of Indonesia, and citizens saying, we want this to happen, please follow us. Then we need to do tree planting at big scale. State of Telangana in India is a lead state here. They have now made 3% increase in the tree cover of Telangana. Fantastic progress and a world-class achievement. In China, President Xi Jinping has promised that China will do as much tree planting every year from now to 2030 as the size of the Kingdom of Belgium. Well, Belgium is not the biggest power in the world, but the landmass of Belgium is still significant, and if China can do that amount of tree planting every year, it's hugely significant to the world. And by the way, so many other nations are now embarking upon the same. And then we have urban forests. Well, the mass of urban forests will not be the biggest because there are small pieces of land inside cities. But the importance to people is enormous, because an urban forest make an area where you can walk, where old people can sit and chat, where youngsters can go around playing. So it's an enormous improvement of the livelihood. added biodiversity, animals, insects, all this back to the city in a very nice way. Adding to that, it's good for climate and the big issues of the planet. And adding to that, trees also keep a city cool. There's an enormous difference with a city with trees and a city without trees when it comes to keeping cool. And frankly, most Indian cities are pretty hot. Mumbai is not like Delhi, but still it's a hot city. And tree planting makes it cooler, and which is good for people. And we now see a huge movement for urban forest all over India. Day before yesterday, I was in the city of Bengaluru. There, an organization called Say Trees have made 35 urban parks just in the city of Bengaluru. A couple of days before, I was in Pune, where Terra and other civil society organizations have made some beautiful city forest. And you see this in Ahmedabad, in Chennai, in many cities. Very great. But it's the Bhamla Foundation will put itself as a lead entity in making this happen, for sure Mumbai, but also all over India. We need more urban forest. The concept of the Miyawaki is great, but of course you always need to look into what you plant, make sure it lasts long, make sure there is biodiversity in what you plant, and normally plant indigenous species. They are the best to grow, not something imported from somewhere else. But I'm sure you are aware of all this and will do it in the right way. So let me just conclude by saying this is a great initiative. I wish you all succeed. Please, Tiger, communicate this to many Indians, and please bring them up to the actual tree planting. That's also a huge way of creating jobs. And it's also a huge way for people to mobilize the civil instinct that I want to do something for India and for the world. So, urban forest, and I'm looking back to come here in a few years' time to visit some of the urban forests you together have achieved.
देश व दुनिया की खबरों के लिए देखते रहें संसद वाणी और हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें ताकि हम जो भी मुद्दा उठाएं वह आप तक सबसे पहले पहुंचे।